ahead of what's going to happen today, I need to post this video. Because quite honestly, I still don't understand what goes on in the minds of Donald Trump supporters. In the last few days, since it was announced that Donald Trump himself was going to be indicted, I've seen nothing but direct threats from Donald Trump supporters in the media, on the street, and especially in Congress and Senate. What is going on? What is really going on in their heads? They say you got Fox News commentators saying that this is the end of America. You've got Donald Trump's family saying America is turned into a banana republic. We have people in Congress screaming threats against this country. All of it stemming from the indictment of one person. All of it stemming from the indictment of a ex-president who committed crimes and now is being held accountable for those crimes. You downgrade your own country. You threaten your own country and its people. You threaten judges. You threaten prosecutors, all stemming from the indictment of one single person. And I, for the life of me, do not understand why. What has lured you to this? Is it because you believe in Trump so blindly, so strongly, that you're willing to burn your country for it? You're willing to kill your own people for it? You're willing to set fire to the very thing you keep preaching, the United States Constitution, the very thing you keep saying is sacrosanct to this nation. You're willing to destroy it because one person was indicted? Just last week, we had a mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee at a school. 3 members of the staff and 3 9-year-old kids dead. And what do we hear from the good portion of this country, the Republican part of this country, mind you? The same part of this country that's threatening to burn it down, all for the sake of one person being indicted. Nothing. Or worse, they say they're not going to do anything about it. Like that Texas representative saying, we aren't going to do anything about it without making it worse. Really? You're willing to burn this country to the ground for one person being indicted on crimes that we know he committed, but you're not going to do anything to safeguard the lives of children in schools? Your priorities, see, this is what really pisses me off about these people. Their priorities have been completely screwed up from the floor up ever since Donald Trump took power in 2016. Ever since he tried to steal power back in 2020 and the accompanying years afterward. Now that he's trying to get himself reelected in 2024, it's just gotten worse. And instead of letting the legal process happen, Republicans like Mary Jean Taylor Greene and a whole host of others are threatening to burn it down, all because one person has been indicted under the law. And I keep asking this question of all the Trumpers out there. If this were Barack Obama, if this was Bill Clinton, if this was, I'm going to even go even further and further and further back, if this was George Washington in this very situation, being an indicted president for crimes that we know he did, for crimes that may have influenced an election, for crimes of trying to steal an election, would you be reacting the same exact way that you are reacting now? I already know, from personal experience, especially when it comes to Barack Obama, that you would react differently. You would be screaming for his neck to be in the noose. Because you've already made that abundantly clear. And the thing you've made clear is that the law doesn't apply to Trump. Well, guess what? The law applies to us all. All of us. Donald Trump is not a God. And he's definitely not Jesus Christ, our Savior, our Lord and Savior, who we celebrate his resurrection this coming Sunday, Easter. As much as you want to edify him as a God, he is not. And there's a pretty big concept I want everyone to remember. That Donald Trump is not above the law. And that is what this whole thing has been about. Everyone wants to say we shouldn't be doing this because he's a former president. No. He is Joe Q. citizen now, subject to the same laws as everyone else. But the real sad thing to all of this is that you're willing to burn down your own country for the sake of a man who wouldn't do the same for you. And you know he wouldn't do it for you. How do we know this? It's in his DNA. It's in his... You have to understand the history of this man. Yeah, he's willing to help people as long as it gets his picture in the paper. But when it comes to helping John Q. Citizen or the homeless or anyone else, he won't lift a finger. That should have been apparent to you while he's letting the January 6 rioters rot in jail, where they should be in jail. But Trump says he's going to help them. He hasn't paid one legal bill for any of these people. But he says he'll help them as long as he gets re-elected president. So what exactly do you think you're going to do? What exactly do you think you're going to accomplish by marching in New York City outside the Manhattan court, as long as it benefits me? If you go out there and do something in New York City, what exactly do you think you're going to accomplish? The DA is not going to drop the charges, and he's not going to let go of the indictment. So all you're going to be doing is being, again, like January 6th, political pawns for Donald Trump. If you continue to broadcast the BS that this country is turning into a banana republic, all because one solitary person has been indicted for crimes, like any other criminal in this country should be, then all you're doing is extreme damage to this country, saying that it's in a free fall, that it's going to be destroyed, all because one solitary person was indicted for crimes. That's pretty petty in my view. And feeds into this anti-American rhetoric that the GOP and the MAGA want to believe. And it is wrong. Actually, if you want to get even deeper into it, it's treasonous. Saying all this, that you don't recognize America anymore. You don't recognize our country anymore, all because one person is being indicted. Do yourselves a favor. Walk away from this and don't talk about it. Or, as many of you told me and many others in this country when Donald Trump was first elected in 2016, if you don't like it, leave. Here's the facts. Trump is going to be indicted this afternoon. He's going to be held accountable for his actions. And what you're doing is is showing the rest of us in this country that you don't care about the law. You don't care about accountability, as long as it's not Donald Trump. Everyone else, screw him. You've shown to me that you're not Americans. You're a bunch of sniveling babies crying that their savior, Donald Trump, is about to face the music. CTP Know The Truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.